You want to? She wants to come over and sit by me. I can't move though.
Yeah, the stream health. I don't know if people are on there. Is anybody on the line right now? It says stream health is kind of yellow. Hey everybody, are you able to hear us well in the videos that actually playing? Because we're on the screen right there. I'll put. Now she's got the Chihuahua. What's the name?
Yep. Now it's Belle,
Okay.
as in Bluebell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Charles.
Well, I hope the stream is working well because it doesn't have, it's not green. It says it's a yellow color. So I apologize if it's buffering for you guys. All right. So today again is Sheila Wysocki regarding her new podcast series, Without Warning, the Lauren Agee case. All right. And the episode 3. Part 1 just came out yesterday. It was a little bit late because they keep having to update them on the fly because there's so much new stuff coming out since the first 2, right?
Right. So we're scrambling to get it out.
Yeah. So what's been going on since the first 2 episodes came out? Maybe you can tell us about that.
So the first episode came out. It was very well received, and from that episode a witness came forward and then another person came forward, so we're slowly, you'll see my husband walk past us, we're slowly getting people to talk, which is the whole point of this.
Yeah. So yes, we're gonna have dogs, people walking around, barks.
It's our house.
But this is casual over here. We're just answering some questions, or she's answering questions. All right.
It's all about doing this for Gray.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're doing it for you too to get more people to watch. All right?
Oh, you know what? That is true. But on a Saturday to come, you are very special to me to do this.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. You're taking part of your weekend off to come do this. I appreciate it. Yes, your husband was photobombing the shot. Somebody
right?
That's what somebody typed.
He's going to love that.
Right. Okay, so we're going to ask some questions now. What I think I might do is just put on a slideshow for a little bit while... These are just some of the pictures from the...
Oh, yeah.
It'll just kind of loop through them every 8 seconds, all right? I don't know what necessarily started with that one, but let's... I'm going to open up some of the questions that were emailed to me, and then maybe... Daro will put any new ones that are being asked that aren't covered here, and she'll send them to me on Facebook, and then we'll check those out at the end and see if there's anything new in there. But Daro, if you see one that you've already, well, I guess you can't delete the comment, so never mind. All right, so here we go. The first question asked by Sally Morton is, did Aaron Lilly ever take a lie detector test, and if so, what were the results?
The answer is no.
That's it? No elaborate? No, I'm just kidding.
No, he didn't take a lie detector test.
Right, yeah, what else is there to say?
I mean, what do you say to that? The police officer said he was going to set it up and never did.
All right. And she asked another question was, where is he now, referring to Aaron Lilly, and has he gone into hiding on social media since your podcast started?
Well, I don't. He is in Florida, and I don't follow him on social media. I think he is public, and I think his Instagram is very public. So, yeah, I don't follow him, but I think, he's out there.
All right. And then Julene Blandon asked, how far apart are those markings? You see, last a week ago, I think is what it was, there was those marks on her back that we were seeing. They're asking how far apart are those markings and how large are they?
We don't have because
you're kind of breaking up a little bit.
Did not take that.
Oh, your Skype's a little bit breaking up a little
I'm
bit.
losing you, aren't I?
Yeah, a little bit there.
Yeah, I don't know why, because I haven't moved. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So it was a little bit shaky. If you completely lose it, just hang up and then call right back again, and I'll just put it back on.
Okay.
But
all right, so he's on Instagram, and he's in Florida.
Yeah, okay. Well, how about let's just try that. Why don't you just hang up and call me back, because you got that really pixelated look. Let's just see if it works, all right?
Sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, just call me back. All right, everybody. She's going to call me back. It was really clear, and for like 30 minutes we were on the phone, and then right when the show starts, of course, you get the pixelation. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, and can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you see me?
I just can't. Now I can. Still a little bit pixelated. Okay, that's not bad right there. All right.
Okay.
So let's get on to the next question. Maybe we have to bust through these.
Okay.
All right. What was her estimated time of death?
That's a great question. So the campers told the police that they saw her last at 3 a.m. and her body was found at 4:30. Our medical person looked at it and said the lividity was she didn't probably die at 3 o'clock. So we're really not sure of the exact time of death.
That's interesting, because you'd think that the medical examiner would be able to come up with a specific, or be close anyways. Now, I remember you saying, did she have water in her lungs or not?
She did not.
She did not. So that means she wasn't alive when she made it into the water.
Correct.
Huh, that's interesting. All right, so Kathleen O'Driscoll said, couldn't the injuries on Lauren be from the cliff diving accident?
That is a great question.
And then I'll put in what she said. I think it's well, go ahead. That's all. You can just answer that question. Do you think it was from the cliff?
Sorry, I don't see your face. That's why I can't. Sorry, Gray.
No, it's all right.
Okay, so that cliff jumping was done on the day before, so that Saturday, and her injuries were she got the breath knocked out of her and hit her arm really, really hard. Now we have a third party witness that came forward who was there when she was cliff jumping.
And what did they say?
That it was just the breath was knocked out of her.
Right, like if you did a belly flop or landed on your back or something like that.
Right, yeah. Something like she just landed wrong. Now, Aaron Lilly did swim over and go to her and get her out of the water or help her out of the water, and she really hurt her arm.
Okay. And then the person said, maybe, like later on, maybe she felt sick or even died from those injuries. That was a question.
Great question, actually, really good question. The problem with it is her injuries don't line up to her walking around, or her feet were perfect condition. So she wasn't walking around up in that campsite, because if you go up there, it is the rocks are jagged, you would cut yourself.
All right, and it said, did the autopsy reveal any clues to this? You just answered that question. That was just the last part.
Okay.
I guess Truth Sleuth on Facebook said, did the autopsy show any head trauma?
Yes, there was head trauma. It was blunt force trauma that was the cause of death.
Right, and the cliff jumping incident had nothing to do with her hitting her head on something, right?
Yeah, blunt force trauma. There was. I mean, it's her head would have been bashed in. I don't know how else to say that.
Right, like if you felt, you can get that. Like if you get pushed off a cliff, for example, and your head smacks on a rock, that would be blunt force trauma too. But if you're doing cliff diving into the water and you lose your breath, you don't have blunt force trauma to your head, right?
Right.
Maybe if you fell from like 1,000 feet going 250 miles an hour, maybe something like that could look like that. I don't know though. Let's see.
And again, there's the mystery of how'd she end up in the second cove.
Yeah, the second cove is pretty strange.
Right.
All right, so Carolyn Slopak asked, could she have fallen off the hammock? And since Aaron is used to using friends to cover things up, as this podcast showed, they moved the body and tried to say she drowned. That's just is it a possibility?
Theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a theory? I mean, anything's a theory. That's, we've gone through every single theory there is. They have to listen to the podcast. There's more to come.
All right.
I like you, Gray, but not enough to give away what's coming up.
Yeah, that's right. She's not going to answer questions that are going to be answered, give away sort of what you might come up with, or just with your own visualization or listening to the podcast. I guess you're actually listening to
Great theories. I mean, these people are very smart, and they're obviously listening and thinking. Right. So, great, but I don't want to give anything away.
Okay, and then Carolyn also said, is there a transcript on the conversation of witness talking? Some people did say to me they couldn't hear very well some of the conversations.
Right, and that's part of the problem with doing a podcast this way is these are true interviews. And so, believe it or not, those interviews were cleaned up. So what I heard versus what y'all heard is a million times better. So we're not releasing transcripts right now.
Okay. And I guess, is it Cassie, right? That's the ex-girlfriend? Right. Says, why did Cassie take so long to talk?
That is a fantastic question. She was scared. And think about, what the repercussions could have been. And she was terrified. And so after 2020 aired and there were some things that weren't correct, she wanted to correct them. And believe me, it was a fluke that she and I were able to be in a situation where we were together, and she realized I'm non-threatening. I'm just going to talk to her.
Okay. Somebody did ask in those pictures that are scrolling by.
That I don't see.
Yeah. There was one. It says, what is the prescription in one of those? There was a bottle of pills.
Oh, yeah. So Lauren was taking diet pills because children that age, for some reason, think they're fat.
Yeah, and that was Carrie M. that asked that.
Yeah.
Ashley Smith asked, could she had a slap brain bleed? I don't know what that means. Never heard of it.
I don't know what that is, so I can't answer anyway.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I've never heard of that. And then Tina, these are all just ones that were asked as we've been on the air here. Tina Bean said, any contusions that didn't bruise?
Any contusions that didn't bruise? That's a great question. Let me think through that for a second. There was bruising on her thighs.
It almost looked like the ones on her back were kind of like that. Those, because they're just kind of.
That's true.
There's no bruising around them.
That is true.
And then Jay Glover said, did anyone check her past background on whoever she dated before? Very much so. I know her entire dating history, and we've talked to everybody. Oh, excellent. Let's see.
And they'll hear it in episode, I'm not sure, as people come forward. I used to have the episodes lined up, not anymore.
All right. And let's see. Mark Stark asked, he said, can you ask Sheila if she thinks the injuries to Lauren are consistent with Aaron physically abusing her and killing her?
That I can't answer.
Yeah, you'll have to make up your own mind while watching without
listening.
Warning. Yeah, listening. Yeah, see, we all watch podcasts, right? Everybody on YouTube watches podcasts. Even though when you're watching them, there's nothing moving on the screen. It's just anyways.
There's more, and I do want to say there's a lot more to come. I mean, we have so much to share. So I do want your listeners to make up their own minds. And I appreciate several of them several of them have emailed me, and I appreciate them doing that and asking these questions. I'm going to take all the questions and do maybe a question answer podcast at some point, not right now.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Vanita asked, she's one of my wrenches. She said, did Aaron Lilly ever bite the ex-girlfriend in their fights?
Yes, and we have a picture of it.
Okay, and then the next question she asked was, does Sheila believe Aaron Lilly's ex-girlfriend, which is that Cassie person?
Cassie Franks. I do, because I have pictures, police reports, and witnesses. So she's very credible. And I do want to say this about Cassie. There are two things that I do want to go on the record. First of all, she was terrified to come forward, and she did. And she helped us get a really good picture of Aaron Lilly. And everything that she told me has checked out 100%. So, plus, she's gotten her life together. She went to college, has a degree, is working, she's in management. I mean, she fully has just blossomed now that she's out on her own.
Yeah, so let me see if there's more questions in here. Let's see. Okay, I guess the clarification of slap brain or whatever it means, slow bleed in the brain, she meant not slap. She meant slow
okay.
Slow bleed, not slap. Okay.
So it's still, the problem is the blunt force trauma is what killed her. So I don't think that's a slow bleed. And not being a medical person, I really cannot answer that. I mean, Gray, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, again, I'm not really, I'm not a medical person. I know that there's people who have been hit in the head, and then they seem fine, but then hours later, something happens like almost like an aneurysm in their brain, and they die, right? But
yeah, this case.
But like you would still be sitting in the hammock. That's what,
Right.
She'd still be in the hammock, just not alive, right? That's the thing. But instead,
good point.
That's not. All right, and then Truth Sleuth said, what did it just says Truth, so I don't know if it's Truth Sleuth. Maybe there's somebody else named Truth now, but it says, what did her talk screen show? The talk screen, and that's something, that episode you definitely need to hear. So her talk screen showed that she was over the legal limit of alcohol. But I'm going to clarify this because I don't drink, and I do believe that this is important. She was with people that she thought were her friends, so you probably could have more alcohol than you normally would, but she was over the legal limit. And I had somebody ask earlier about, this is totally changing the topic in terms of the question, but something about her monthly cycle and the fact that she had the looked like a tampon in.
Yes.
Can you explain that whole thing?
Well, the police said that she was on her period. And she couldn't, well, I'm not going to say that because that's part of an episode. The police said she was on her period. We did call her OBG, well, I call him OBGYN, but it's her OB. Oh, wait, it's GYN, sorry.
Yeah.
And we clarified that. And that is going to be a whole episode, all the science stuff.
Okay, so you will hear about that later.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That one's great. Whoever asked that, you definitely need to listen to that episode.
Yeah. All right. You know what we could do? I can actually let you see the chat. You can't see it right this second, but I will let you see it here in a second. And then maybe you can kind of look at it too. I'll switch it to a larger screen that you can actually see here. Just a second. Okay. I don't know if... Let's see. How about this one? Can you read that at all? Is it too small?
I'm not seeing you at all, Gray.
Not me, but you can see the chat.
No, I don't see anything.
You don't see the chat? Okay, let me try.
No, I see your little picture.
Weird.
Profile pic.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let me just switch it. Okay, how about this one?
Nope.
You can't see anything, huh?
No, do you have your video on?
So if I go back to this, can you see? Yeah, I have my video on. Yep.
No, I don't see you.
Ah, weird. Let me see if I can. Oh, how about now?
There you are.
Well, that's weird. I never touched that, but it just kind of went off because I haven't even been on that screen. Okay.
That's funny.
Well,
okay,
good.
so
okay.
I see you.
So let me go back to that. It would work, I'm sure. All right, so I'm going to do, how about this one? And then I'll put the chat in the window so you can see it. Can you see this now?
Yeah.
Now let me make it bigger for you because I can do that.
Okay, let me see if I can read it.
Okay, tell me when it's easier to read.
Well, okay, there we go, where it's coming in.
All right.
Yeah, it's bigger, but here we go, it's perfect. Okay. Can you move it over though, just a little bit?
Towards your face, to your head? How about like this?
Yeah, that's perfect. Now I can see it. I can see it.
Okay,
now.
I'll put it right off to the
Okay,
side.
that's perfect. Okay. Okay, so where are you so we can... the Truth Sleuth, who's a nurse, you really are going to like the forensic and the medical portion and the toxicology. I hope I'll do one with Gray. I hope you're back on when we do it.
Yeah, she's actually a friend of mine on
Facebook. Nice.
Yeah.
Would you move it a little bit?
I just moved it a little bit. Okay, I'll put it back.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Did you send me any more questions, Daro? Because we're not going to do a really long show this time, anyway. So if there aren't any new questions, let's see what we got here. Were they all drinking? The Friends and Lauren. That's by Karen M. Okay, and then so you can kind of monitor over on the chat if you want, but I'll and if you have something, just interrupt me and answer that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Kim Brody said, was her skull crushed?
Blunt force trauma, and again, I'm not a medical person, so I'm not going to go into that. We will be giving out the autopsy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just to throw out my 2 cents. I've seen some of the. It didn't look like it was crushed. If you think of crushed like somebody, like a
baseball bat smashing it in.
Yeah, or like under the weight of something that just crushes it. I didn't see that, but anyways, when the fishermen came back to the dock and told the officer that they found a body, are you sure other people didn't hear this? And the news was spread throughout the groups of the people.
Great question. Great question.
Elliot Ness said that.
Well, very smart. Good question. And here's how that went down. They actually went into a private area and told them. So nobody knew. There were 4 people that knew. Great question. One that I asked. No. Nobody else was in there, but, we have all the witnesses that were in the room at that time.
Okay, and then that person's name was Elliot Ness, by the way. I don't think it was the real Elliot Ness, though.
You don't think so?
No, it's weird. I'm only guessing, but... Okay, Carrie M. said, where was Clint, the ex, when she was found?
Another great question. He was with an entire family.
Okay. And let's see, it says...
And there's a whole episode on Clint.
Oh, yeah? Now, this is the ex that Lauren was dating prior?
Yes.
And Lauren was dating somebody else currently, though, right?
Right.
Okay.
She was. So, yes, she was. I'm going to put my chihuahua down. Hang on.
Okay.
Yes, she was. So everybody, all the question and answers on what happened with him will be there. We will talk about it.
Okay, so let's see. There's some more questions.
Mine's not updating, by the way.
Oh, it isn't? Let me see if there's... Oh, wait, here we go. Sorry, I had to hit that button. So now it's... So this one says, was she choked?
Oh, I actually, before we go into that, the one that says, can the episode be listened to? Yes, you go on to iTunes, and it's under Without Warning, the Lauren Agee case. Right. And that's how you can listen to it. So yeah. I do want you guys to download and subscribe and ask Gray questions, and he can ask me. I will answer them if I can. Was Lauren choked? So in the autopsy report, it was not notated, but the sleuth that is a nurse would look at the throat and see that there's hemorrhaging in the throat.
Yeah. By the way, the links were in the description of the video to Stitcher and iTunes. Right, to your podcast. Right. I put them in my video's description.
Thank you.
Right, so you can just look there, but make sure you review her video or her podcast. I keep saying video. Make sure you review them and download them. I don't ever have to download them. Like when I'm on iTunes, it just seems like they play. Am I actually downloading when I'm playing them? Is that that's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, this is the first time I've ever done a podcast, so I'm not sure all the ins and outs yet.
Yeah. Huh. All right. Says someone said all Without Warning episodes are outstanding. That's what Deuce said. So there you go.
Oh, thank you. We're trying very hard.
Yeah, somebody's correcting something. Says subdural, not subdue. Ashley, yeah. You don't put the corrections in Facebook. Just give me new questions. All right. Let's see what we got here. Anything up in here? The blood in her throat. Somebody has one that's...
Oh, wow. The Carrie M. What bothers me the most about the autopsy findings? Oh, that is going to be a long list. I think that the lack of injuries, the hemorrhaging in her throat, and Gray actually helped us with a video on her nose. It shows that her nose is broken, and that wasn't notated.
Yeah, it definitely looks crooked for sure. I'm not sure how you'd get it like that if it wasn't broken.
Right.
Right. Let's see. Anything else on there? Is the mark on Lauren noted?
No. Elliot Ness, whoever you are, brilliant question again. No, it is not notated at all. They have, when they got her out of the water, they took a picture of it, but it was never talked about after that.
JoJo said, was she wearing her own clothes?
Oh, great question. So, did you ever show the pictures of her bra at all?
Of when she was in the water?
Don't show the one. I'm sorry?
You want me to show the ones with the bra?
Just the bra, the way the bra is. It will be talked about, but we'll talk about it since JoJo asked on here.
Yeah. I'm a little bit nervous to...
Just look at it before you show it.
Okay.
It's the back one.
I'm just not sure where it'll open. So I have a folder that I open, and it might blast out onto the one, and then it would show all the pictures.
Never mind then. Okay, so next time we do this, we'll have that picture. And JoJo, if you can watch, because I'd love to get your opinion on if they were her clothes. Her mother has an opinion on it, but that'll come out, but we can look at it.
And that's going to be in other autopsies?
That's going to be in the crime scene stuff, or the scene.
I mean, I meant in other episodes is what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah. When we do another one.
Yeah, so the dog mother said could new clothes have been placed on Lauren before going in the water? Well, that's kind of what JoJo was saying.
Right. And that's the same thing if they'll look at the clothes and tell me what they think.
Yeah. And someone said, sounds like a big cover-up with a lot of officials. It could just be that they just didn't do anything. You know, I don't know all the ins and outs that you do, so maybe other episodes will talk about things like that. But
so Don Rice, as far as why was the bite not noted? Great question. I don't know. That's a medical examiner question.
Right. Let's see.
And Tina Bean about the Aaron distancing himself. We have a statement analysis expert that went through that with us on what to look for, and not telling him the case. We just gave him not the transcript. We gave him the audio, and then he came back, and there's several areas that he distanced himself. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds like both Hannah was doing that too, it seemed like. Trying to sort of imply, you know, get the word out that it was something else, you know, so that you're already thinking, oh, wow, yeah, maybe she just was going to the bathroom and fell, you know, trying to sort of...
But we didn't look for her. We didn't look for her.
Yeah.
We worried all day, but we didn't look for her.
Yeah. Something's rotten in Denmark, as they say. Let's see. Anything else? See, this is go ahead.
The hook. I am Tina Bean. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that statement. I agree. That hook thing, as a parent, just puts me over the edge.
Yeah. I don't know what the protocol is, how they would do that. Maybe they use the hook for a particular reason, you know, maybe so you're not touching, but then you're going to have to touch her at some point anyways to pull her out of the water, so it seems kind of...
Right, but you don't put a hook that's going to make a mark on someone's body.
Yeah, there you go.
And contaminate, basically, a crime scene, because the law is, or the way that police are taught, if the body is not... If no one's around, you consider it a homicide until proven otherwise.
Yeah, something Phoebe said in there. It's not something non-criminal. Hannah should come clean. So the thing is, I've actually seen an interview where you were with Hannah, and things were sort of... I don't know if she may have said something, but then, boy, it all got shut down in a hurry when somebody showed up. Maybe you'll hear about that in one of the episodes.
That's 2 episodes away, Greg.
Yeah,
hopefully. Well, and that I want to clear up is these episodes are real fluid because people are coming forward, and I want to make it as relevant and accurate as possible. Yeah,
so they've had to scramble recently to get some of these, you know, episodes coming up to date with the new information that they've received on the tips that have come.
Hey, you're going to kill me. I have to get my battery. I didn't realize it's low. Hang on. Go talk for me.
Okay, I'll do one of my raps. Okay. Guys ready for my just spell my name right rap? No, I'm not going to do that. All right. Yeah, see, this is great stuff. So here's the thing, everybody. The next time there's a podcast, don't just go, hey, I'm going to show up and, you know, send some questions in, right? So that we can keep firing questions for her to answer. Because right now, she's only been on here for 33 minutes. And for the last 12 minutes, we're just looking for ones in the comments, all right? I think it's sort of, I don't know if you call it rude or whatever, but you guys need to, that's what this is all about. It's for you guys to answer, have your questions answered. So just... you know, have some available next time. Yeah, it's weird too because she has a Chihuahua. Do you have a Pomeranian at all? I used to have a couple of those. Yeah, she has a Husky. I don't know if it's a... I could look at that little Chihuahua over there. Right, but watch the...
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's a Pomsky, not a Husky.
Yeah, it's a Pomeranian, part Pomeranian. That's what I thought.
Yeah. He's a great dog. All my dogs are.
And yes, Ada, I asked your questions early on. Yeah, I was just letting them know that they got to submit a bunch of questions prior, so we're not scrambling through trying to find them. You know, some people do think of them as we're talking, though, and that's kind of how it normally works. But you know, try to think through the outside the box after you've listened to the podcast. Okay, go ahead.
So she was not cremated, and we have talked about exhuming her, but for the parents' sake, we have chosen not to.
Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine having to make that decision to even, to do it. Something like that. My God, you've already put her there. She's been there for a couple of years now. Yeah.
Well, and I have been with a family that had, in a case that the body was exhumed. That was such a horrifically hard day for that mom, and then reburying that child. So it's not something that should be done lightly. Who asked about the rape kit? No, there was no rape kit done.
Yeah, they seem to just kind of really make up their mind right off the bat on this one.
Okay, so Jeremy Taylor and his conversation with Aaron, I was telling Gray, that tape, I'm going to shout out to Resonate Recording, because they did miracles with that tape. And if you heard it before, it's hard to, you couldn't hear anything. That's the best we could get. But had it not been for Resonate, you guys wouldn't have heard anything.
I bet I could have done something with it. Just kidding.
This took 12 hours to get to that point.
That looks pretty. What's this one up here? Jojo said, whose iPhone? If Lauren's, why was it in a vehicle, not at campsite?
Jojo, you are good. Okay, so hold on. Stop there for a second. I'll answer Marie Smith in a second. So the phone that Lauren, that you saw in the pictures, is a brand new phone. Lauren just picked it up, and she hadn't transferred it over, so that's why it was in there. So why this case, and why the Lauren Agee case of all cases that I'm doing, I think because we have so much information, and I know the power of crowd investigating what we're doing right here, and I know the power of people coming forward, which has already happened in this case. And this particular mother, and all my moms are beaten up, believe me, but this particular mother has been brutalized in the system. And I talked to all my clients, and we all agreed that they all know each other, that Lauren's is first, and then we're going down the line after that. And actually, the Dallas case, they're begging us to get one out, but we got to get this one done.
Let's see. Did they do a second autopsy? I mean, not a second autopsy, but like a review of the photos by another pathologist?
Yes, we did.
Because Truth Sleuth asked about that, or mentioned that above.
Yeah, they're smart. These people, you got great people.
Yeah, they just have to ask more questions. No, they're asking a lot of questions right now.
I'm reading it. Listen to this stuff, though. It's actually...
Yeah, it's good stuff, yeah.
I mean, it's very good. And Denmark, hello, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. We got some people from all over the world, actually. UK, Australia, and now apparently Denmark.
Brody. Yeah, that's pretty. Kim Brody is, I just am curious, are you following the cruise case too then?
Yeah.
Just curious.
I'll probably have a lot more to do with that one when we're talking about it for sure, right?
You think?
Yeah. I kind of wish I could have split my time a little bit better between both, but that one, it takes so much time to do those animations and stuff.
Oh, and the work that you've done has really helped on that one. So to answer, is it Kara, Henry? There were 2 campsites.
Hey, Gray, how about live chat? This is live chat.
Oh.
I don't get it. Confused.
Oh, so you told them about the, okay. Hang on one second. I'm going to scream at my husband. Hey, Charles.
That's not going to work.
Charles, Nico wants in.
That's funny.
Did you hear me yell? Sorry.
Yeah. I don't even know if what you covered is where your voice is being recorded. I don't think it's on that thing.
Oh,
but it was funny though. See, it's
okay.
real life. It's real life. See, this is real life. This is real TV, reality TV.
Well, they're seeing how we scream at each other in our house. Like I'm at Walmart with my kids.
Let's see. Yeah. So the cruise case. I just sent you some more photos. Because you needed it for. There's something going on in that one.
Yeah, court.
Yeah. So that one is going to go to court. Agee case was trying to go down a similar route, but that one's been nixed. So now we're going this direction. I think it's
and we have a court date in the Agee case on August 8th. So we're going to court, the appellate court, because the judge threw this case out saying there's no evidence that Hannah could not. She did not need to be part of this case.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else in there? Is the girl the one that wouldn't take her home or let her sleep in their tent made any kind of statement? There was one. That was a friend she called, though, right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So. Yes, and obviously there's a lot of guilt there, and you know what? Who knew? Who knew? Yeah,
I bet she does feel guilty. But hindsight is the same thing. It makes you feel guilty if something bad happens. It's not.
In Marie Smith, that statement about the ex speaking to Aaron. You need to wait and hear the truth on that.
What is she referring to when she's saying that?
So Aaron talks about the ex talking to Aaron Lilly. And all these statements that you're hearing now, pay attention to them. We're letting the person speak for themselves. And then we'll go back through with interviews and go over every bit of it.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. So when when Lauren said, I guess I'm going to have to tell my boyfriend about this. See, when I heard that, I was thinking, I bet she really did say that. However, it wasn't for the reason he's saying it. She probably said, hey, I'm going to have to tell my boyfriend that you're trying to, hit on me. But he's trying to twist it around in case anybody heard that statement or something like that. Perhaps.
Well,
I don't know. He could just be making it up.
I'm finding that sometimes there's truth in what someone says, but like you said, it's not the circumstances.
Right.
That they're saying. Since I can't yell at my husband, I'm texting him if you're to let the dog in.
Yeah. And remember, there was no water in her lungs. Right. We talked about that. And I mean, he seems like a total schemer, Aaron, He's
clever. I think he's very clever.
Yeah, I mean, all the things he tried to get out of. It was cool that the one motorcycle guy said, nope, not going to let you out of that.
Well, yeah, and that's an interesting, there's a little more to that story. The guy originally said okay and then backed out of it.
Right. I mean, I could see doing that at first, but then that guy had morals that later he went, you know what, screw it, Or Well, you're going like that, but at least he did tell the truth, right? Come on.
He told the truth. Yeah, he did tell the truth.
So that means something made him do that. I don't know what that would be, but I would think that maybe he said the truth. You know, maybe something made him feel guilty. Who knows? But I think Aaron is one. Go ahead.
The thing about, is it Tilly Mae? She brings up the peen and the houseboat and stuff. I agree with you. They're in the same paragraph sentence. It was peen, houseboat, and a few other things.
Yeah, that was totally confusing. I like this one that Phoebe Sweet wrote. See, I think Aaron is the one who married Hannah for Fifth Amendment protection, not the other way around. Don't say anything. Look at that. Look at that. That looks like one of those, the emoticon with a zipped mouth.
That is exactly what it is.
All you needed was a zipper on the side. That's the only thing we were missing. That was it. You even made the exact face. I should screen capture that and turn that
No, you should not.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that face and put a zipper on the side. That's awesome.
I'm not talking.
Oh, man, that's funny.
That's funny.
All right. So let's see what else we got here. Would the family consider? No, they don't. They would not consider that. I mean, they considered it, but decided not to.
What? Considered what?
Exhumation. You already answered that earlier.
No. It's too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good point there, Phoebe. Actually, I hadn't even thought of that. Why, getting married makes it so that the spouse can't testify, or doesn't have to testify against the other one legally. So I don't know if there's any more questions out there. It's been about 45 minutes right now. Maybe that's about it. If something comes on that you see that's interesting in the last minute, are you having fun? I don't know if I hope you're having fun. I know she's always having fun. She just
always.
Right.
I enjoy this because this helps me realize the areas I'm not making clear. And the question Carrie M's asking, were Hannah and Lauren really good friends or really friends? That actually, that they hung out with one another when, according to witnesses, when Hannah didn't have a boyfriend. So, or in between boyfriends.
Sort of like the partier, let's go out, always ready to go, that kind of, yeah. I mean, that's what you do at that age, though. That's typical.
Great question so is the judge protecting cops? Great question. That's going to be for you guys to decide.
Yeah, what I've noticed in a couple of cases that you happen to be working on, that it seems like they do such a poor initial investigation that after a while, it seems like they don't want it to be reopened because then they'll have to admit some of the things that they did wrong. I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I've been noticing. It's like, oh, wow.
Well, so I have a lot of the best thing about my job is, I do my job. And then after I do my job, some of the police officers that retire want to work with me. And that's the best compliment I get. But you're not calling me if your case is going smooth. You're calling me if your case is a disaster.
Right. That kind of sucks for you, but I mean, I guess that's what
I do.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's interesting that way too, because you have to really dig in and
we know everything, don't we, Gray, on the cases? Because when I bring them to you to do the work, I mean, we get really into it, and the best part about it is figuring out what happened.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the same thing. I mean, even on some of these other cases that I do lives on, I like to get all the facts together. Then you can speculate, right? Based on facts, and do it and speculate. See, speculation based on facts makes a good theory. If you're speculating on speculation, it's garbage what you're thinking at that point, right?
Yeah, and this question seems to come up a lot about the social standing or standing of the parents and the dynamics of the parents. So I don't know the social standings or connections that the families have. Obviously, the family I work for has zero connections because they're not getting anything done. So I don't know about the other side.
I didn't see that question. Let's see.
Dawn Rice, we hope we don't ever get that phone call.
Right. I've had people put that on my lives. They'll say, hey, if I ever go missing, get a hold of Gray. And I'm like, well, how about just don't go missing, all right? I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, but together, we'll definitely find the answer.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so... I don't...
Yeah. I don't know if anybody has... Does anybody have any more questions or comments? We'll give it another 20 seconds.
Kelly Gray, that question comes up over and over, so I'm going to answer that one too. So the marks on her back, they are symmetrical, and it has been said they are drag marks. Our medical person says that it is definitely, you know, I don't want to say dragging because we don't know that. It's definitely scraping from the back.
Yeah, it's weird how they look. Both sides look so similar, though. See, if you're dragging, you think one side would look a little different, but it was almost like identical, almost like at least the image I was looking at. Maybe if I looked at it differently, but they looked too similar. It was weird.
Now the cops closing it earlier, fearing that, about Wakefest and losing money. I don't think I buy into that theory, but I do think they closed it. I have a different theory on that, and that's coming later in the episodes.
Yeah. So someone said, are the marks post-mortem?
So the nurse on here can answer that, but bruising stops when the heart stops.
Right. But you get lividity, which sort of looks like bruising, but it's not.
Lividity is very important.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. So this is the nurse. She said the marks are post-mortem, so...
Well, the nurse is Truth Sleuth. I don't know if there's another nurse in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's saying, yes, are the marks... I think she's answering, is there any more questions? Yes. Are the marks...
okay. So it's the bruising stops happening after your heart stops because there's no blood flow. So she had bruising.
And then Humble says, marks from the canoe, but you might say a canoe.
Wait, hey, hang on. The dog mother, what women on camping trips? I can't see the whole question.
Oh, let me get it for you.
Because it's about her cycle.
What woman on camping trip were cycling? Who would have packed tampons? What woman on camping trip were cycling? Like cycling?
So no, their cycle. I
see.
I think something you're not familiar with there,
sorry.
Greg.
Yeah, that's not my expertise. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think here's what I think. Most girls have an emergency tampon. Oh, and that. So you're going up too fast. So the one I asked you about is a nurse. It's way going too fast for me. She is a nurse. Oh, that's a good question. Was lividity on her front side? So yes, it was. Her chest side.
Yeah. It didn't seem like severe lividity like in the cruise case. It didn't look like that to me. Like, the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, they're joking around about girl code right there. See that? Watch her.
That's hilarious.
Because, see, I'm in these groups on Facebook, right? And it's like this. For me, it sounds like this. Wah, 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 wah. I mean, they're going back and forth, and they are just going at it, and they just totally get it. And I'm sitting there, I'll read it 4 times and go, I don't have a clue what you guys are talking about. Okay? It's
That's
amazing.
Hilarious.
It really is incredible. I don't know how you guys do it. You guys can say... a whole paragraph in like 2 words. It's amazing, like the meaning that comes out of there. But anyways.
Okay, wait. Let me see what the Lisa Douglas. She says she's a nurse with. I can't see the whole question.
Wait, you want me to move it over? Can you see it better?
Yes, now
okay.
I can see it. Okay. So anesthesia, ER background. Ooh, yeah. I want you to keep in touch with me. Just you know what? I'd love Lisa if you could look at the pictures that Gray has. I know he's shown them before. And kind of give me an opinion on someone falling down a 45-foot cliff if her injuries are consistent.
What images can I share with her on the site?
The ones that we showed last week.
Okay, things like that.
Yeah. It's interesting how many nurses are in here. I think that says a lot for you, Gray. Because, I mean, these questions are real. Y'all, these questions are great.
Yeah, truthless critical care nurse.
See, that's why they're smart.
Yeah. Let's see. Elliot Ness, the impression mark on the front of her body that looked like she was laying on a canoe. No impressions.
Okay. Gray, you and I don't know how we're going to ever answer that question.
Well, I'm supposed to do something with Lorden once that episode comes out. Yeah, I'm gonna go over it on screen live, and I'm gonna try to take the marks that were on a boat that you were looking at, and we're gonna try to line them up with it, see what's going on. Okay, that's the only way to really do it, right? You can't just sort of eyeball it. You got to literally line it up.
Who's the professional body language? So you're Marie Smith. You need to keep in touch with me too, because there's a episode coming up that we may put the video out.
Is that the one that I was mentioning earlier?
Yep. Yeah. So body language wise, what do you think? I'm worn out from unpacking my boxes today.
Yeah. Sheila's actually a busy person. I don't know if you guys know that or not. What with the podcasts and actual investigations.
And unpacking my house, trying to move in after a year.
Yeah, it's a really cool house. Maybe one of these days you can show people what it looks like, but maybe not. But maybe not.
Yeah. So the prison therapist and investigator, Kelly Gray, that is awesome too. You've got great people. Gray, how'd you get so many great people?
I don't know. Maybe they can answer, right?
Yeah, you need to sit back and no.
Maybe I should actually. Yeah, why don't you guys email me and tell me what you do? Then heck, when we have different cases, I can bring you on to talk about those specific things. That'd be pretty cool.
So, baby boomer. So next episode, we're praying goes out next Thursday. And how many episodes? We had them all set until we started this podcast. And then, fortunately, we've had people come forward, which screws up the entire everything. So we have to completely re-record. So I don't know how to answer how many there are going to be because it's very fluid.
Yeah. It seems like when you say it's going to be out next Thursday, it could be Friday. You just never know, right?
I know. Well, and I will tell you, by the way, we come for the food. That's hilarious. The episode was supposed to air Thursday at 4:30, and because of the audio and yell out for Resonate, and then the person coming forward, we had to break the episode up into 2 parts. And so that's why it's the way it is.
I have a theory, and it keeps getting stronger. I want to see if it fizzles out. Yep, you're just going to have to painstakingly wait for each episode. Mm-hmm. Right?
And that's the thing about this case. I think Gray and I've talked about it before, is with each other, there are so many twists and turns. When you agree from who we originally thought to where we are today after, truly investigating it.
Yeah, I think it's way stronger now. You're sort of what the parents what her mother was thinking, I guess her parents, and
right.
what you were talking about. I mean, I remember, you know, because I wasn't on it as much, I'd always say, like we said last week, it was like, I don't know. I mean, I think the Cruz case seems more obvious, and you'd say, yeah, but there's something there. There's something there. Now look at it. My God, it looks like.
I know.
How could this be in the state that it's in? You know, and that's what this podcast is doing, is putting it out there. I mean, when I say state, I mean like it's not being investigated or anything. It's just sort of.
Well, in this podcast is what I'm using as an investigative tool for exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So this is a new way. I think it's a new way to investigate, and I'm getting flack from some some investigators that don't do it this way. But you know, my theory is it hasn't worked the other way, so let's try something different. And with this community of people that are so dang smart, it really helps us. I'm going to answer the question about Lauren is an only child for Sherry. She has step siblings, and they have talked, and you will hear from them. But, you know, it has absolutely wrecked their lives. The entire family. I mean, it's just wrecked them. You know, it's not only the investigation and the judicial system, but the lack of faith in what they thought was true. You know, something happens, the police go in, they find out what happens, and, you know, you move on. Well, my cases don't go that way.
Yeah. I was going to add something on to what you were saying. I think that this technique works great when the case is in the state that it's in. When it's, you know, law enforcement's quit working on it, and it's sort of cold, basically, a little bit like the Cruz case. And I think if you do crowd sourcing, then all of a sudden more people might be like, wow, you know what? I remember something here, you know, and then something comes out, people think of things, and then boom. Or it might go the other direction, where it totally exonerates somebody. You just never know, right? But the thing is getting out the truth.
Right.
And
that's the thing. That's my job, is only to find out the truth. Whether it's that Lauren, you know, fell off a cliff or Lauren was murdered, either way, my job is to find out what happened.
Right.
And I'm not going to find out and hold anything back. It's all coming out. So at Thanksgiving, I had two families that I had to tell them that their children actually did commit suicide. I don't take cases unless there are cases.
All right. All right, what else we got out there?
The officially reopened. So our whole goal is to have the FBI take over. We do not want DeKalb to take it, and we would like the FBI to stand in. And I believe we have enough information that if we put it all out there in this podcast, they will, because it is quite compelling.
Yeah, I was looking at what Kelly Gray said, that some of her family members have been murdered, and it makes you know,
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and it makes you feel bad for a long time. The thing is, there's no such thing as closure. When people say, oh, you get closure, that's crap, right? All
exactly.
It does is, it's just sort of, if somebody gets arrested and so forth, it just sort of makes you got done with that portion of life, but you never get closure for the death or anything like that. There's never happens.
You know, and I remember standing in the courtroom and going through the trial of my roommate, and he was convicted, capital punishment, and it still sucked because she's still dead.
Right.
So it never gets better.
Yeah, all it did was it made it easier to, I think what I always said, like my mother, when my brother died, my mother was down and down. You know, you're down for a long time losing a child, but then eventually she learned to live with it, right? There isn't a time where you went, oh, great, and now I'm moving on. You know, it's just, you just deal with it. You just learn to live
Right.
with it. And that's the same thing with your friend. It's like you're still, nothing really happened after the guy got arrested other than you felt good that finally there was some justice for your friend, but then that didn't change anything how you feel about her. She's still not there.
Still dead. Yeah. And that's the thing is, I can still go back to that moment and cry. So I understand what these families go through. And I've said that in my podcast. You know, I know what they're told and I know how they're treated.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's been about an hour now. I think we're going to call it quits on this one unless Sheila, who's reading, sees something at the last second.
I was reading. Sorry. You can see I'm dyslexic. So this puts me over the edge, really.
Okay, I'm going to move this off the screen so you can't see it.
Oh, so I can't see it. See, I'm going to have to take pictures so I can answer them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'll just keep you can actually go
That's
watch
funny.
the video again. The comments are still on the side. You can
Okay. Slow them down.
But we'll never be able to get. I know that get you off because I know that you kind of want it. You're tired, and
I want to continue unpacking.
Right. So, but maybe in a couple of weeks we can do this again after a couple more podcasts.
Yeah, we're doing our launch for the podcast next Saturday in Nashville. So if anybody's in Nashville, they have to sign up because there's limited space. But and then I told Gray after that, the week after, we could do another episode.
Yeah, without warning. There it is. That's my own logo. I mean, I use their writing and everything, but I think it looks cool on that cliff. What do you think?
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. It's kind of eerie.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to say goodbye. You can hang up whenever you want. I don't want to, or you can stay on if you feel like it. I don't know. I'm
going to go so I can start unpacking. We'll talk later this week, okay?
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Of course. And I appreciate everybody that asked questions and spoke. I really, really appreciate y'all.
Yes. And thank
so
you.
Download and share it. Download and share it so people will come forward, y'all. That's what we need.
Right. And the link to the podcast is in the description of the video. So if you can just look at the video and then in the description where it explains what the video is about, the links are in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, y'all. Bye,
All right,
Gray.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know why I'm going to put this up on the screen right there, but that's on the screen right now. Let me go back to a different look here. All right, I'll go back to mine. Well, heck, why don't I just put this up on the screen? So, hey, I really appreciate you guys coming on here. And asking all the questions. It'd be cool, though, next time if we can have a whole bunch of questions prior. But I get it, how it's organic, where people... earlier when I was saying about being rude, I don't want to have her feel like we were rude, by not having something. I mean, I only got 6 or 7 people that actually sent in questions before the podcast, but I saw that they were all firing by during the podcast, so that's good too. And Daro was doing a good job feeding them, but then after a while we just thought, well, let's just put up the chat on the screen so she can read them. And I think she appreciated it because she could see how much you all were enjoying it and the great questions that a lot of you had. All right, so like I said, I have the best viewers, or what do you call it, subscribers in this realm, I think. I mean, every night when I do my show, I'm always like, yeah, look at that. I think I actually, I have the chat going on the screen almost the whole time now when I'm doing my live shows because I actually like reading the comments. Sometimes it confuses people that are watching the video because I'll just bust out something related to a question without the context, but hopefully they can watch the video with the comments running on the side and get it. Or I could try doing better at reading the question and who said it, then answer the question. Hey, Lacey, what were you talking about earlier when you said Something about live chat or something. I didn't get that part. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I do try to add a little bit of levity to things. Now I'm not gonna discuss Molly on this this live stream right here, but all right. Well, maybe I'll come back on later. Probably not. I don't think there's anything really, new in other cases at this point. So top chat not well. It was live to me, Lacey. Yeah, that thing that says top chat here doesn't mean anything. I mean, it still puts up the, well, maybe it does. Jeez, what does it happens if I hit lie? See, I think on this thing it's the same thing. I just think later top chat matters. I don't know if it, let's see. Well, I am down here. I was live. Huh. Well, I could still keep seeing your new comments. So yeah, maybe I got to make sure that says live chat like that. It doesn't seem to have made much of a difference, so we were still reading them as they were coming on. But thanks. There you go, Lacey. I got the actual explanation for that. Interesting. You got a notification, but it was counting down. Right. It was counting down for like an hour. I set the notification about an hour prior to the show. All right. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming by. I hope you guys got some good information there. I think it's a really interesting podcast. The episode 3, part 1 that was just out was really, really very interesting. It's amazing all the stuff they have that are recorded from the investigation. I think this is sort of a really unique, one-of-a-kind type of podcast because you're actually able to hear and kind of go through the process the investigators did with the recordings. And it was really amazing that the officer, I can't remember his name, how he, in the last week's episode 2, I think, how he recorded, that was just him having a hunch and turning on his recorder. It was pretty amazing. No, that's not who. What are you talking about, Carrie? These are the actual investigators, the people like Sheila and the rest of them, and the officer who actually recorded. He wasn't incompetent. That guy he's kind of their hero, really, because he recorded that stuff. All right, everybody. I said that already, but I'm gonna get going, and until next time, everybody, be safe out there.